Good afternoon. Today is August 10th, 2021. And today we had a range day. So the overnight highs and lows are in yellow. And we actually made a measured move up here and just basically, I guess I would say this is like a range with an upward bias, I guess. Now I've marked this area, but now I want to mark this area too. But anyway, yeah, I would say it's a range day. We had this so yesterday toward the close we had this downward channel, and prices overshot that and made a measured move down, and that formed our overnight lows. So I had that here, this channel drawn, and there we get some congestion here, but that should really, I think Mack would advise you to really just play today's price action and forget about yesterday. So I think the congestion here is due to breaking out of overnight highs, and we get a second entry long right there. And if you miss that, you get a higher low. But I think I'll mark that as aggressive because that's going into the highs. Yeah, so we get a break of that with a kind of a spike and channel down. And then we get a sort of spike and channel up. And now we're correcting from that. So let's take a look at the trades I marked. So we're clearly trending up. Here we form some congestion between like midnight and 5 a.m. Pacific time. But we break out of that congestion and we pull back. And this was actually failed second entry short. First entry, and this is the second entry short. So I actually went long above that, and I did scalp out. But I think I even was saying to myself, wait for the second entry long. And it's funny because I scalped out here and I went long here, and I got too nervous. And I thought that I should back out of that trade. So I learned a valuable lesson. Don't doubt the second entries. But also we'll talk about why I was doubting myself later. But that's the second entry long, and then you get a higher low off the trend line right there. Only reason I marked this aggressive is because it's going into the highs at that point. And we start going off this trend line. This is really confirming the trend line. So I think you get a double bottom here, double bottom here. So I'm probably looking at this as like a first entry, second entry. Yeah, this is like a new first entry, second entry right here. Failed second entry short. That's probably what I was looking at this as. Yeah, it also kind of looks like a first entry, second entry long, but it's not. And so that works. It's just aggressive because it's a little ways away from the EMA. I wanted to take that, but it's also going into the highs. So we hit that measured move and we make a lower high. It's actually a failed second entry long, and that's a great failure right there. Great trap. If you are seeing that perfect measure move, I like those. I kind of like those. If you see that, that's clearly a trap. Mack doesn't mark those typically though, so I don't think you can take that unless you were viewing it the way I'm going to talk about later, which I had my trend line drawn like this at first, and in that case, this really looks like only one leg up though, even after that. So tough to say. I mean, I wouldn't be too opposed to going short there, but you know, that you might get burned, and that would be a really good move. But anyway, you get a second entry short here. It's aggressive. It's not a good signal bar, but this is a nice leg down. we if you see that, we're, we hit the measured move. So this is under the EMA as well. Second entry short. I like it. It's aggressive. I took this one. It's aggressive because of that poor signal bar, but I felt like I was reading this correctly. And so that formed like a little spike and channel down. Here we get another first entry, ticks higher, second entry, short, off the trend line, off the EMA as well, off the overnight highs. Boom, we come back down to this, the midline and the lower end of the trend line. First entry, second entry. You might have tried to go short beneath this bar, but we get this bullish bar, it ticks higher, and then you got to drop an order beneath that. If you dropped an order beneath this, that'd be like a 4-tick failure, and I think it was a 4-tick failure. And if you're wondering how to know that, just look at how close this is to the lows of the swing. So here, you might, I don't know, man. I don't think you can go long here. This looks like a really good first, failed second entry short. But I don't think you can go long here because we haven't broken this trend line. This is not a convincing break. This is a convincing break. So the break comes right after that. And then, I think maybe then you get a first entry, second entry, and this turns out to be a really good move. I'm wondering if you can take this. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It closes below the EMA. So I think you actually probably wouldn't. I don't think you want to take that because that looks like a trend. Yeah. I don't think you can't take that. But that is a second entry long, and it turns out to be a great move. First entry, failed second entry short. Looks like this is a midline, so looks like that's a midline. And if you drew it up here, and that'd make this a little more aggressive because that looks like a overshoot. But I think if you do this, that really looks like a midline right there. So I think if you see that, you can take this failed second entry short. I wanted to take that, but I didn't. And so I actually got trapped going long here, looking at this as like a two-legged pullback to the EMA. And then, then we get this. Then I started exhibiting really poor behavior. I went short here on this signal bar. It's the first failed second entry long is what I was looking at it as, especially we came close to the measured move again. I don't like this entry, but I'm not too disappointed in myself taking it, and I'll talk about that a little later. But so this failed second entry short fails, and we just get a ton of overlap. First entry, second entry right here, that's a doji though, and then it's just congestion. And so we actually test this price level like 4 or 5 times. We break out of this congestion with trend, come back, and I think you got to go. I think you got to be aggressive and go short there, because you got to break out, boom, and it slingshots you the other way. And I think you would have gotten a runner here. 33. Okay, so you would have scalped out right there. Yeah, but then you would have gotten a runner. So how many? 33, and then I probably would have gotten stopped out right here. So that's a 2.5 point runner. And then here it looks like the trend's not holding up anymore, but I think if you're reading this right and you see this signal bar, I think you got to go short here. That's like it looks like a second entry short. It looks like a failed second entry long. I didn't have the guts to take that, but I think I was reading it right, and I think Mack will have that marked on his chart. So that's what I saw for today. Let's take a look at the trades I took. I was showing some poor behavior today, and I've still been doing better than even last week or 2 weeks ago, but just I think I've just started taking a little too much trades. We'll see it. Some things will jog my memory. We'll see. So yeah, I took this failed second entry short right here, which I probably shouldn't have taken, but I'm not too disappointed because it does look like a first failed second entry short in an uptrend. Not too crazy about it though, but I'm not too disappointed because I'm showing some what's the word? Discipline by taking just second entries. So then we get a first entry, second entry long, and I enter, and I just got too nervous. That's a doji, this is a doji, but that's a second entry, and I got out at break even, but it turned out to be a really good trade. So disappointed about that, and I think I just gotta, if I'm being disciplined and only entering on second entries with trend, I think you got to let it ride, and if it fails, then study the hell out of it and learn why it failed. So I do wish I stuck with that, but you learn, you live and you learn. So one good entry and one entry I'm not too crazy about, but whatever. This entry, I think this is okay. Obviously, I wish it would have been a good signal bar. If you get a good signal bar there, then this arrow becomes a red arrow. That's a textbook second entry. It's just very aggressive with that poor signal bar, but it's a second entry. So after this steep leg down, and after we hit that measured move, so I am okay with that entry. And here I just start. 3 entries in a matter of, like, let's see, like within 45 minutes, which is just not, it's not likely. I mean, I knew this thing was going down, so I took a big risk here going long here because I should have known better. This is just, it's not even a second entry, you know. If you follow the rules, first of all, this looks congestive. Yes, that kind of looks like it might be a break back into congestion, but you're better off waiting on a higher low, if on a failed breakout, or waiting for a true second entry. So, also, this is a break of the. It was clear that this channel broke, and I saw that. So, I don't know. And this could be the break of this channel. 1, 2 legs up to a new high. Attempt at a new high, that is. So anyway, that was that entry. And then what did I do here? I went short here, just because this is a 3 tick bar, and it's a failed second entry, or well, I was looking at it as a failed second entry long. First entry, boom, second entry. So I'm not too disappointed for taking this because of how low risk it was, and I was looking at it as a failed second entry long, but this would be the trend down, and clearly there's a break of that trend down. And the overall bias at this point was up. So anyway, then that failed, and then I looked at this as second entry short, and clearly this is just bad behavior. I came in at this bar too, and look at that. That's so congestive. So congestive. At that point, instead of me looking like, oh, it's going to trend down, I should have just drew my range lines and sat back, because if you're just patient, boom, you get a good entry right here. So what did I got stopped out on this one, got out of break even here because I'm like, look, what are you doing, man? So kept my losses pretty low today and yesterday, so I'm not too disappointed, but man, I was up like, after these 3, I was up like $300, so simulated dollars. So just don't take any trades after that. Hit your profit target and walk away. So that's something I got to learn. I'll show the chart one last time. But yeah, always be using this measure move tool, because that really helps. That helped me see this, and that helped me more confident in taking this short right here. So, hope that helped. I'll be back tomorrow. Everyone have a good day.